Welcome back to Originality Check, where we take a look at a park's coaster lineup and judge it based upon originality. To determine a coaster's originality, there are 3 points to check off. Point number 1 being that it originally opened at the park and it was not relocated from another park. Point number 2 is that it is not a cloned model. And point number 3 is that it has an original name. At the end of the video, we will add up all the points and determine the originality of all the coasters at that park. Today, we are going to take a look at the coasters of Adventureland Park, the one in Iowa. This park really is a hidden gem in the heartland of the USA. I've been to this park twice and I've always had an amazing time. And their coaster lineup is pretty solid for a park this size. But how original are their coasters? Adventureland has had 10 coasters in its history, the first opening in 1974 and the latest in 2023. With 10 coasters in its history, Adventureland can score up to 30 points for originality. Now before we venture into this video, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop a like while you're at it. It helps me out greatly against the YouTube algorithm.
Want to watch a views take a plunge, Ryan?
Trust me, you don't want this dude paying you a visit. Anywho, on to the judging. As always, we will go in order from the first coaster to open at the park to the latest. The first coaster to open at Adventureland was Der Flitzer. This operated at the park from 1974 to 1990. This was a zero Flitzer model. While Adventureland was the first park for this coaster to be a long-term attraction, this was on the German fair circuit for a few years before coming to Adventureland, so no point there. This was also a cloned model, but the name will give it a point. 1 point for Der Flitzer. Super Screamer. This operated at the park from 1976 to 1999. This was a cloned model, but the name was original to the coaster. 2 points for Super Screamer. Tornado. This was a PTC out and back wooden coaster that opened at the park in 1978, and still going strong to this day. This ride was named after a tornado that delayed the park's opening in 1974. Not sure why they would want to immortalize that kind of event with this coaster, but here we are. Interesting little fun fact for me, this was the very first coaster I rode after the COVID lockdown. This did originally open at the park, it's not a clone, but the name Tornado has been used a few times. 2 points for Tornado. Dragon. This was a Hopkins looping coaster that operated at the park from 1990 to 2019. I never got to ride this ride, but the loops were still intact when I visited the park in 2020. Kinda wish the park kept the loops to keep the memory of the coaster alive. Oh well, how original was it? This did open at the park, there weren't any other clones of it, but the name has been used countless times. Well, maybe not countless, but 166 times. Still alive, so no point. 2 points for Dragon. Outlaw. This CCI wooden coaster opened in 1993, sharing the same birth year as me. This is a massively underrated wooden coaster. I wouldn't say it's elite by any means, but definitely deserves much more recognition. The first and second drops in the back row give crazy good ejector, and the layout is very GCI-like, especially the first drop. This coaster is just pure fun, and it will give us our first home run for the video. Original on all 3 points. 3 points for Outlaw. Underground, another CCI wooden coaster, but this one is indoors. This was closed for both of my visits at the park. I really want to see what this coaster is all about. It looks really cute. Guess it gives me another reason to come back to this park. No complaints here. I love this park. Underground looks very similar to Fire in the Hole or Blazing Fury, which to see at a small park like Adventureland is amazing. And this will give us another home run for points. 3 points for Underground. Monster. This Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster opened in 2016. In my opinion, this is the best Gerstlauer in the USA. There's a few in Europe that could give it a run for its money or even top it, but in the US, this is the crown jewel for Gerstlauer. Unlike pretty much any other Gerstlauer, this ride is butter smooth. There's not a single pothole, it pulls great forces, and makes use of trim brakes to benefit the ride experience, giving the last 2 elements of the ride some great hang time. And with those lap bar restraints, it only makes the coaster that much better. As much as I would love to give this coaster 3 points, the name Monster has been used before, with Monster at Rolligator and another at Gronerland. 2 points for Monster. Phoenix. This Mauer spinning coaster opened in 2019. These Mauer spinners can be hit or miss. Like most spinning coasters, it depends on weight distribution. I rode this alone in 2020, due to social distancing being enforced at the time. This gave me a very good ride, but my ride in 2023, I rode with a full car and I hardly spun. For what it is, it's fun and it fits very well at the park. While this did originally open at the park, this is a cloned model and the name has been used quite a few times. 1 point for Phoenix. Dragon Slayer. This SNS 40 free spin opened in 2021. This is easily the best free spin that I've been on. It's cool how each side of the coaster offers a different experience. Don't want to spin too much? Ride the Squire side. Want to spin to questionable legal limits? Ride the Knight side. I rode this a few times in 2023, and my last ride on it actually made me a little bit nauseous because of how much it spun. And that's never happened to me before. Would I do it again? Why am I even asking? Of course I would. This did originally open at the park. Is it a clone model? Toonbilly, A King's Dominion technically is a clone of this coaster, but Dragon Slayer did come first, and the fact that it offers a different experience on each side of the coaster, I'll give it half a point here. The name of the coaster is original too. 2.5 points for Dragon Slayer. Flying Viking. This is a Zamperla family coaster that opened in 2023. This model is a combo package that also comes with a log flume. It's pretty neat to see how the coaster and the log flume interact with each other. It would be cool to see more of these pop up at other parks. There is another one of these at Luna Park, but Zamperla owns that park, so that makes sense. The coaster itself wasn't anything special, a little bit on the short side. It's fine for a family coaster. This did originally open at the park, but as I said before, there's another one of these at Luna Park, and that came first, so no point there. The name will give it another point though. 2 points for Flying Viking. And that's all the coasters of Adventureland. There were 30 possible points to score, and Adventureland scored 20.5 points, giving the past and present coasters of Adventureland 68% originality. I was expecting Adventureland to score a little bit higher than this, but 10 points doesn't give too many opportunities for points in this series, compared to larger parks that I've done before in this series. Despite that, Adventureland is a fantastic park. This is a park that every coaster enthusiast should visit at least once or twice in their life. If you're ever doing a Midwest trip, it's super easy to add this onto that trip. And with Lost Island not too far away, even more reason to visit the area. And that'll do it for this episode of Originality Check. This series has been a lot of fun to continue doing, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. There's a lot of parks out there that still need to get their originality judged. What parks do you guys want to see in this series? Let me know in the comments. And make sure to check out all the other parks I've done in this series so far. My goal is to make an episode for every park that I've ever been to. And maybe a few years down the road, I can revisit some of these parks in the series to either include coasters that they've added since I made the episode for them, or to make any adjustments that I've made in my judgment of originality. These rules aren't set in stone. If there's anything that you think I should change, feel free to let me know. Alright guys, I wrapped the video up here. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys in the next loop.